Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I am finally showing you the summary of my usage of each palette that I worked on my Panda's eyeshadows. Not Panda palette, I did not do Panda palette last year. And my No Pan Left Behind challenge. But also last year, December, when I ended my project pans, I actually used some of the palettes that were not included in any of the project pins I did last year. So I actually also included them, and I'm gonna do this in some sort of a ranking style. I actually got this idea from Gabriella Francesca. She is also a project planner, and she do these, I think, maybe like quarterly or so, but she does a lot of project planning content, and so I will share. I can't say that. And so I will share her link on the description box. And before anything else, let me just have a sip of my iced Coke. This is just a regular Coke. I think I will be here hopefully for not an hour, but I'm just gonna like speed through these because I will do maybe like after like another video. I'm gonna do my eyeshadow palette collection. That's why I'm not gonna blubber too much on these palettes. I actually own 75 palettes, and let me see, 53 of them I have used last year, so I did not hit my goal of actually using all of my eyeshadow palettes, but 53 I think is a really nice number since I have also bought a lot of palettes last year. If you see me looking down, I am actually looking down on my notes because I have already taken down notes and the ranking. So I'm gonna start first with the least used palette to most used palette. And by the way, how I counted this usage is my usage per eyeshadow and not like how many times I have reached it on a day. It's just the eyeshadow usage. And I will share with you guys my spreadsheet for my tracking, and I'm gonna share it by just read only because I don't want you to encode in the database itself for your own privacy. So what you're gonna do is you download the file, and if you wanna like autosave, just Google it to your. I mean, like upload it to your Google Sheets because this spreadsheet is compatible with the Google Sheets, and um, it's just a really basic formula, but if you are knowledgeable with Excel sheet, or if you have help with your family members or friends, then you can modify your own tracker. Mine is just really simple, and each palette has its own formula. So yeah, just just explore. Number 34, with one use, is this Cheery Up Ambition palette. So this was not included in any of my project pans last year. So here she is. I have already did a like swatching video of this. So yeah, just sometimes I am really lazy to put end cards. So just search this on my channel and you will see it right away because I just did the swatches of this like way back in September. And I think, yeah, I'm just gonna put on the screen on what shadows I have actually used. And then number 33 is ColourPop Stage the Day with 2 uses. Again, this palette was not included last year on any of my project pans, but in this year, this is included in my Pando's eyeshadows, like my first round of Pando's eyeshadows. So here she is, and I'm so sorry. I tried cleaning this one, but when I used oh my god, my neighbor is so noisy. I tried cleaning this, but the cleaning wipes actually stained this one. So I maybe I'll try like a makeup remover, but for now, this is what she looks like, and I'm so sorry for the messy appearance. And for number 32, both of these palettes, I have used them 5 times. So these are the Vice Keri Boom palette. So this is a local palette, and then this is the Natasha Denona Mini Retro palette. So each of these palettes, I've used them 5 times, and they were included in my. Both of these were from my. No, this one is from No Pan Left Behind, and this one is for my Pandos eyeshadows. But I decided to not stress myself and just to not hit pan on a color blue shadow. So actually forgot another palette with 5 uses is this one. Yep. It's just like a boring like movie smoky kind of eyeshadow, and I've actually used this when I ended my I think my Pandos eyeshadows, and so yep, I managed to use this 5 times. And then number 31 with 6 uses is the Focallure Sunrise Impressionism palette. This one again is not included in any of my project pans, but I reached this palette. I mean, like the shadows in here, I've used 6 times. So here she is. It's a like a very warm, mauvey kind of eyeshadow palette that's inspired by one of those Huda Beauty palettes. And then at number 30 with 7 uses, this is the Go-Go Tales Impressionism palette. Again, this was not included in any of the project pans, but I did a dedicated video of this way back in March last year. So here she is, and I managed to reach to seven times out of 9 eyeshadows. At number 29 with 8 uses, it's another Go-Go Tales palette. So this is the Go-Go Tales Admiring Velvet eyeshadow palette. So here she is. It's a pretty much neutral palette with some pressed glitters in here. It's like a hybrid between like a pressed glitter and a creamy shimmery eyeshadow. But yeah, also not included in any of project pans or challenges, but I did some. Yeah, I think I did a dedicated video and review of this palette. And at number 28, these two are tied with the total of 9 uses. So it's the Zeesea Cement Plate and the Muge Leen Be Yourself palette. Here they are. So this one, it was on my last round of my Pandos eyeshadows. Yep, my Pandos eyeshadows, and then this one I just used this way back in December. So both of these have 9 uses each. And then at number 27 with 11 uses, this is the Beauty Glazed Mint palette. So here she is. This was included in my No Pan Left Behind, I think way back in June, if I can remember correctly. So 11 uses. For 26, these are tied between 2 palettes. So these 2 palettes, I have used them 12 times each. So this is the Squad Milky Way eyeshadow palette, and then the Sweet Mint number 5 quad. So actually both of these were included in my Pandos eyeshadows, like the last round of Pandos eyeshadows. And so yeah, I think this one I did not manage to use all of the eyeshadows in here, but yeah, still 12 uses is a lot. And then this one, just a tiny quad. And then at number 26, again, a tie between two palettes. So these two palettes, I've used them 13 times each. So these are the e.l.f. By the way, this is not a palette. This is a quad, but mini palette, whatever. Between the e.l.f. Mint Melt. This is the Chocolate Mint, and then the Go-Go Tales Starry Sky palette. I know the painting is supposed to be Starry Night, but they changed the name, I guess, for copyright reasons or whatever. So both of these are like green themed, neutral color story. So yeah, both of these have been used 13 times each. And then at number 24, these three palettes, I have used them 14 times each. So, wait. So these are the Narini Deadwood palette. And then the Shidella Reverse Emotions palette. And the Beauty Glazed Smoky palette. So three of these, I've used each of them 14 times. Number 23, this is just a solo palette with 15 uses. So this is the Zeesea Crystal Skull palette, and it's like a heavy purple kind of color story. So there she is. And I think this one is included in my Pando's eyeshadow. So I've managed to use this 15 times. And then the next two palettes at number 22, both have 16 uses, are the Star Wars Darth Vader palette. So here she is again with the staining. I tried to clean this with like a white, and then they just created more mess. So. And then at number 21 with 17 uses is the Pink Flash Cranberry Cookies palette. So this was in my Pando's eyeshadows last year, and there she is. It's maybe like a pinky, neutral, warm tone kind of color story. And then at number 20, with 18 uses, two palettes I have in here. So the first one is the Focallure Ever Changing palette. So there she is. As you can see, we have some heat pans in here. But I think I've rolled in this palette last year 2 times on my Pando's eyeshadows, and this one was from my No Pan Left Behind, and I managed to hit pan on one of the shadows. So yeah, both of these, 18 uses. So at number 19 with 19 uses, this is the You Can Be Dried Purple palette. So this palette was on my No Pan Left Behind challenge. So here she is with 19 uses. And I just purchased this palette last year. And then at number 18 with 22 uses, both of these, the LA Girl Down Play palette and the Zeesea Purple Plate palette. So both of these are from my No Pan Left Behind challenge, and I managed to use this both 20 times. And then at number 17 with 21 uses, this is the Sheen Effect Tipsy palette. This palette, it's like an all shimmer palette with the some of these are like duochrome kind of shadows. Yeah, I managed to use these 21 times, and this one is included in my No Pan Left Behind challenge. 16 with 22 uses. We have 3 palettes in here. First one is the Moira Time to Shine palette. So there she is. This was included in my Pando's eyeshadows last year around February to March. And then this one, this is the Beauty Glaze Truffle Chocolate palette. Again with 22 uses. So there she is. I believe this was from my Pando's eyeshadows. And last one in here is the Maria colors. This is a like an Arabic brand. So there she is. Yep, this was included in my Pandos eyeshadows last year, February. Yep, 22 uses, and I did not manage to hit pin on the matte eyeshadow. And then number 15 with 23 uses. This is the Detail Egyptian Desert. This is a local brand, and when I say local brand, it's a Filipino brand. So this was in my Pandos eyeshadows. Yep, Pandos eyeshadows. So yep, I think this was the one I was working on, and I managed to use this 23 times. Number 14 with 24 uses. So how many are these? 1, 2, 3, 4 palettes we have in the 24 use category. So the first one I have in here is this brand that I can never ever pronounce correctly. I believe this was like a TikTok brand, but then they no longer exist. But some palettes were available on Shopee, and now they are not available anymore. So I guess the brand is no longer existing. So this is the eyeshadow palette. So I first rolled this one in on No One Left Behind, and around like May, and last year November, I don't know if it's November or October, but this has been in project paints and challenges 3 times. That's why we have like 2 hit pins in there. And the next one in the 24 use category, this is the O.TWO.O, whatever, but I cannot pronounce. This is a C Beauty brand. It's the Milky Way palette. So this is her, and I think this was also in my Pandos eyeshadows, and I managed to use this 24 times, and I managed to actually hit pan on that fast. So the next is the Eye Magic High Heels palette. So this is her. This is her. This is highly inspired by the Melt Gemini palette, but the tones in the shadows are different. That's why I just say highly inspired and not a dupe, because technically this is not a dupe. It's just highly inspired by the palette. So yeah. Okay, last palette in the 24 use category is a Focallure Sweet as Honey palette, and I will try to make my voice louder so you can hear her. So this is her. This is the Sweet as Honey palette, and I believe this one was rolled in my Pandos eyeshadows last year. Number 13 with 25 uses. This is the Focallure Sunset palette. So again, this was included in my Pandos eyeshadows last year, and yeah, I don't know if you can see that, but I've actually hit pen on this shadow, and for this year, I'm actually working on this shade. So this palette loves to be in a project pan as well. At number 12 with 27 uses. So I have 2 palettes in here. First one is this Kalu number 8 palette. This is the knockoff, not really a knockoff, but like a cheap attempt to dupe the Cheeria palette that I just showed you earlier. So there she is. Just by looking at this, you know that the quality of these shadows are not the same as the Cheery Up ones. And then the other one is the Essence Witch Side palette. So both of these were in my, no, this one is from my Pandos eyeshadows, and then this one was on my No One Left Behind challenge. So both of these, I've used these 27 times. So this Essence palette actually really surprised me, because upon like using this for the first time way back in 2022, I actually did not like the shimmers in here, because the shimmers in here are so like 2018. But like as I was using this for my No One Left Behind, I really did come to appreciate the mattes in here, because the mattes in here are actually good, and they are blendable and buildable quality. And then at number 11, this one is just solo. So this is the BH Cosmetics. I've managed to use these 28 times. So here she is. This was included in my Pando's eyeshadows last year. I think two times. I'm not sure 2 times or 1 time, but yeah, I managed to use these 28 times. I mean, I managed to 28 times. Just 28. But yeah, it says 28. What? 28? At number 10 with 33 uses, I have 4 palettes in here. The first one is a Beauty Glazed Brownie Chocolate palette. So this palette was on my sorry, Pando's eyeshadows. Here she is. It's a warm tone but deep tones kind of a color story, but I managed to hit pan on the darkest shade in this palette. And then again, 33 uses. This is a Moira Magic Dreaming palette. This palette was on my Pando's eyeshadows for 2 consecutive rounds. So, yep, I think these 2 greens in here were included in my Pando's eyeshadows, and this palette is one of my favorite palettes in my entire collection. And I was so happy to finally give this palette more love. And then at the same usage, this is the Focallure Perth palette. So this palette loves to be in project paints as well. I think I've rolled in this palette like 2 times last year in my Pando's eyeshadows. I forget if it's just once or 2 times, but yeah. And for this first round on my Pando's eyeshadows for this year, again, this palette is rolled in because she just loves to be used and not be forgotten. And then the last one we have in here with 33 uses, this is the Zeesea Rainbow Wings palette. And the lid is already broken. So this is her. This is like a warm tone neutral with some pops of colors for the most part. I think this palette was in my Pando's eyeshadows 2 times last year. And out of my Zeesea palettes, I can say that this is definitely my top one. Just a few palettes more, guys, and then we will be done here. So at number 9 with 34 uses, this is the again, the brand that I don't want to pronounce because I don't want to butcher it. But this one is the green palette. It's the Evil. I don't know if it's the name of the palette, but here she is. It's a neutral color story with pops of some reds and then this yellow orange kind of color story. But this palette, I think I wrote in Pando's eyeshadows. I'm not sure if I wrote this one in 1 time or 2 times last year, but yeah, it was also in my Pando's eyeshadows, and I managed to use it 34 times. And then at number 8 with 35 uses, this is the Zodiac palette by Colourpop and Kathleen Lights. So this is a very, very old palette way back in 2018. But if you actually take care of your eyeshadow palettes, they will not go bad easily, especially if they are powder eyeshadows, because molds do not thrive on dry powders like this. I'm not sure if, yeah, because like creamy eyeshadows, like the ones with the emollient kind of texture, like kind of packet. Okay, I don't want to shade that brand, but I don't like the owner, even though he's also Asian. It's like, yeah, why are you acting like that? Okay, so by the way, then at 35 uses, I actually rolled this one in in my pan those eyeshadows, but since I actually want to love this one more, I think I reach out more of these palettes more than the other ones. And then at number 7, with 38 uses, this is the Perfect Diary Red Fox palette. So there she is. It's a warm tone, reddish brown kind of a color story. So again, this one was also in my Pandos eyeshadows, but I actually really like the mattes in here. That's why I've reached one for this 38 times. And then at number 6 with 39 uses, this is the VH Royal Affair palette. Again, this was way back, I don't think way back 2018 or 2017. This is like a neutral palette with some pops of like this chartreuse, this like light blue, and some pinks. But for the most part, this is a neutral palette. This one has like 39 uses because this was rolled in 2 times in my Pandos eyeshadows last year. And as you can see, I was working on this shadow and then this one. Yeah, 39 uses. So we are now down to top 5. Can you guess what are my top 5 palettes by usage? So at number 5, with 49 uses. Oh my goodness, 49 uses. But actually, this palette, this is the Zeesea Chestnut Plate palette. So this is her. I was working on this shadow for 2 consecutive months. That's why I have managed to use this 49 times. This one was my most reached last year because the mattes in here are actually really good. They are really pigmented. And yeah, I think this is one of my top neutral palettes in my collection, and I think you still can get this. So if you can still buy this palette, just grab it, guys, because one of the best neutral eyeshadow palettes in the entire makeup world. I know that's bold to claim, but just by my usage number, you can tell I really like the palette. And then at number 4, this is the You Can Be Magic Spell palette. So this was in my Pandos eyeshadows, I think way back in September. Yeah, September or October. And so yeah, this one is like not really an attempt to dupe the Lime Crime Venus XL, I think volume 4. Like, you know, the ones with the burgundies and the greens and the pinks. But this one, they just stick to the greens and pinks. So yeah, the mattes in here are not really phenomenal quality, and some of the shimmers in here are lackluster. But yeah, it's a pretty palette overall, and I was surprised to know that I have reached this one 50 times. It was a surprise. But at number 3, oh my god, this palette made me fall in love with the overly pigmented, colorful eyeshadow palette. So this is the Beauty Glazed Color Flame palette. So this palette, I've worked on this, I think, 2 or 3 consecutive months, just trying to hit pin on this shadow because this shadow was on my Pandos eyeshadows. But since I am also doing No Pan Left Behind, I explored all of the shadows in here, and this made me like, as you can see, these are so bold, like the purples and the blues and the greens. But yeah, I managed to do some really good looks with this one, and now I fell in love with colorful looks. I don't think I would ever go back to just boring neutral looks. I will always incorporate something colorful in my looks. Then at number 2, this is the You Can Be Rose palette. So this palette, it's like a boring, like gray toned mauvey shadows, like that soft smoky kind of vibe. The shimmers in here are actually really good, and the mattes in here, like, surprisingly, they show up on my skin. at the first glance you would think that this is such a like a washed out kind of a gray tone matte, but they are actually different enough for you to distinct when you are making looks with this one. So yep, this palette was rolled in 2 times in my Pando's eyeshadows last year. That's why it's on 64 uses. And then at number one, I was not expecting this palette to be the most used, the most reached out palette for my 2025. But this is the You Can Be Taro Milky palette. So this is just like a really like neutrally with the pops of purple and pink kind of palette. But yeah, I this palette was actually I think rolled in 2 times in my Pando's eyeshadows, and I believe that this one I was working on this one for 2 consecutive months. That's why it's the most used palette in my collection for 2025. Yeah, the mattes in here are okay. They're not the most phenomenal quality, but shimmers, especially in this middle row, are so pretty. And I guess yeah, I've managed to hit pan 3 shadows in here last year. Okay, you guys. So those are the palettes I used for the year of 2025. I will again show you the tracking my tracking system, and I'm not really expert in Excel, but again, if you can improve your own tracking by maybe like doing like a more complicated formula to your liking, then you're so welcome. But yeah, just download the file, guys, and upload it to your Google Sheet so that you can just encode and autosave. By the way, in this tracking, all you have to do is put the name of your palette and the usage of each shadow, and then at the bottom of each like palette, you will see the total number of uses. And I will do my best to like maybe do 15 each category. By the way, there's like separate tabs between pen. So for example, if you have a quad, it's a different tab. If it's a 9-pan palette, it's a different tab. You can see it on the file, guys. So yep. I hope you will find the my tracking really useful. And again, you're welcome to improve your own tracking. I'm just giving you like the basic tracking. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for my eyeshadow palette collection, but I think I will do that at the end of the month because I've just shown you like most of my eyeshadow palettes. So like yeah, maybe you want to see other stuff. So yep, I'm just gonna do my eyeshadow palette collection by the end of the year. Maybe I'm gonna do first my other declutters. I think I'm gonna start with the lip collection because I was not able to do that in 2024. Yep. Okay, you guys, again, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, and I will see you on the next one. Bye, guys.